All right, we're ready to start for the next session. We're trying to move it quickly, TED style, so that we can get, I have no idea how many speakers there are. It's a lot. 3 rooms, 20-minute slots, all day. There's going to be a lot. What? Yeah, endless. Well, you can't be in 2 places at once or 3 places at once. I'm sorry. You'll have to come back next year and see some of your friends again giving talks. The next talk will be by Kelley Freeman from the University of South Carolina, where she's been involved with the Pastafarians since 2009, but has been an activist in other ways. She was actually our intern in the summer last year and helped us organize the Southeast Regional Leadership Summit in 2010. Wow, it's been a long time. And during SSA week, she crocheted an assortment of things from an adorable Cthulhu to zombie Jesus. I believe the read it in a teacup, in the teapot, Russell's teapot, and raised over $500 for the SSA by auctioning these off. Apart from the secular activism, from the secular student activism, she volunteers at Camp Quest and is on the board of the Camp Quest South Carolina. Let's hear it for Kelley.
Good morning, guys. I'm not going to quite be 100% because I'm getting sick this weekend. So if I can't talk to you tonight, it's because I won't be able to, not because I don't want to. I'm talking about leadership transition, and my subtitle is "Do as I say, not as I do," because we've kind of had a little bit of rough transitions in the Pastafarians over the last few years. But I just want to take a moment for just it's still morning. Take a breath, breathe and consider it, because no one is going to ever be as awesome as you. You are a fantastic leader. You are here. You are leading an SSA affiliate. So accept how awesome you are and then get over it. Because unfortunately, you are going to have to give up your SSA affiliate. I'm pretty sure that the reason they gave me this topic is because I've been involved for, 3 years now. And I have to graduate next May, and they're like, "Kelley, you gotta leave." I'm like, "Okay." So, yeah, no one wants to have to talk about this, but it's kind of a big deal, unfortunately. Because what happens when you don't plan? Terrible things happen when you don't plan. Really terrible things happen when you don't plan. When I was at the end of my freshman year, so beginning of 2010, May of 2010, we were transitioning from our founding officer, Andrew, to the next group of leadership because he was going to step down a year early. And the only 2 people who decided to run for president was a girl that no one liked and a senior in high school. Because we had a member that was a senior in high school that was coming every Tuesday. And because nobody liked the girl that ran, the senior in high school one. And that didn't go over well. So don't elect high schoolers if you can avoid that. I don't think that's a problem many people run into, but I could be wrong. Because he may fall off the face of the earth and possibly convert to Catholicism. We're not sure what happened there. So other than having terrible things happen, why would you want to plan a leadership transition? So your group lives on. If your group doesn't exist in 3 years, you didn't do a good job. You could have done all the most fantastic things your first year, won all of the awards, but if your group doesn't exist anymore, so what? Congratulations. There's plaques floating around, and that doesn't matter. New leaders don't feel left in the dust. Despite how awesome you are, you don't want to be there forever, I guess unless you're a perma student, Franklin. So you kind of want to make sure that the new group of students are able to take over. If you get hit by a bus tomorrow and your group fails, then you're not doing a good job with letting things move on. You'll feel better if my PowerPoint works. There you go. You'll feel better knowing that your group is going to live on after you and that you did a good job and all that fun stuff. I'm kind of repeating myself, but that's okay. There's nothing meaner than just leaving new leaders hanging, okay, so I have this group and I don't know what to do with it, yay. Ideally, it'll continue to excel and you'll be able to keep up the momentum if you have a good leadership transition, and you'll get to avoid having a terrible leader. I'm still really mad about this like 3 years later, obviously. So how do you prevent terrible things? You plan things. Yeah, that's. Are you panicking yet? Have I inspired fear in you for like things that go? Okay, good. So a problem we've had in the past few years is finding new leaders. So I want you to take a look around. Like, who here is in your group that isn't a leader? Because if they're at a leadership conference, they might be a decent person to put into a leadership position. I see a few people staring members down. Freshmen and returning sophomores are especially good for this. Freshmen you'll have really excitable freshmen coming in at the beginning of the year, and if they continue to do well, maybe they should take up a pretty calm leadership position at the second semester. Like, some schools will have it like where their leadership periods last from January to December, and they'll start over in January. So if you do that, then freshmen are certainly are okay to look at. And then your returning sophomores are obviously a good thing to look at because they've already shown a year of commitment. So also, underclassmen generally have the most time. Basically, at this point, I'm making time for my group and giving up other organizations because I apparently can't give it up. So definitely look to your underclassmen. I know that people are like a little more hesitant to do this because they're adjusting to college, but I think that they are really good about bringing in new ideas and have boundless amounts of enthusiasm. So they're good leaders to look to, future leaders. If you don't have any membership here, you should look at your membership when you get back to school, obviously. Learn to delegate. Liz does a great talk about this. You can probably find it at youtube.com/secularstudents. I think I made all the drawings for the talk, so it's pretty cute, I think. So like, start giving out like smaller tasks to other members, like have somebody coordinate the t-shirt design for the year and like do all the t-shirt orders, or have somebody draft up the flyers and like make them coordinate the volunteers for flyering, because I don't like doing that because that's difficult and people are people. It helps you understand that people can do things that aren't you, and gives them a chance to like take over tasks that are pretty simple before you have to give them the reins entirely. Make your job look easy. I've not been very good at this one. I like to do all of the things. So try and make your job look a little easier, because nobody wants to take a leadership position that's particularly difficult. I get really excited about this, so I enjoy it, but it can be a bit tough to do everything, especially come April and May. You don't want to panic at the end of the year. That's why you should make a transition that's a little easier. Encourage people. It's actually kind of funny. I got my position not because I was really enthusiastic about the movement in May of 2010. I got enthusiastic and I took my position because nobody else was running for that position and Andrew asked me to. So remember to ask people to run for positions, especially if you think they do a good job. If you don't think they would do a good job, don't ask them. That's a terrible idea. You would think I wouldn't have to tell people that. So yeah, if you think somebody would be a good leader, tell them so. They may be like a quiet person or not a self-nominator. Like, I get really excited about this, but I'm not exactly necessarily the person who'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and I don't care what you think. I'm like, okay, fine. So some of your best leaders are going to be the ones that you actually asked to step up and that you've noticed. So make sure to keep looking around at the beginning of the year so you're not panicking by April and May of next year. No, it works so I can make things look cool. What if you can't find a leader? That's always really fun. Chances are you might be caught up on the fact that they don't know as much as you do yet, and that's because they haven't been trained. That means you need to chill out. Bring them to the leadership conference, show them all the cool things, and you need to realize, this goes back to delegating. If you can't delegate because somebody will not do as awesome of a job as you will, get over it. A lot about leadership transitioning is getting over yourself and how awesome you are. So that's probably why they gave me this talk, because I know I'm awesome. So are they actually not any good at what they're doing, or are they just not good enough? You want to make clones of yourself as far as leadership. So step down and take at least, I am hopefully going to back off this year and let Dustin take over the reins. He's glaring at me. So, stop! I'm sorry. So step down a year early if you can. This will be easier when you were letting freshmen and sophomore take over the reins. So you can kind of work more as an advisor and less of a leader in the last year. You can oversee the group transitioning. Andrew actually did that, which is why we didn't have as much hell transitioning from Andrew to me, even though we had that kind of freshman kerfuffle. If your new leader isn't actually any good, sorry. The current officers definitely play a key role by maintaining a high degree of continuity. So you'll kind of want to keep an eye on them, and their values today will transition to the values of the leaders tomorrow. So you kind of want to keep an idea on that. So you have new leaders, hooray! Document everything. Document all of the things. This is my only meme. We managed to create a wiki. Actually, Andrew did. This thing hasn't been updated since 2010, but it's still there, and I still use it as a resource. There's you can actually do this through Google Sites, so that's really exciting. Document who to talk to at your administration, like their emails, and make sure if it transitions while you're there to update it, which I haven't done yet. Make sure you document passwords, the rooms that you usually use, old flyer designs, old t-shirt designs, descriptions for officers, previous officer contact info. I still have Andrew's and people I've never met, but I have their contact info. A copy of the Constitution and bylaws is generally a good thing to have, especially since the SSA wants that when you're applying for travel grants and project grants and stuff. So anything that you think they could possibly need, make sure to document that. You might want to do that in hard copies, but this works because I don't lose this, generally. Sometimes I do. It may not be updated, but the bare bones would still be useful. So there may be years of slack as far as this is concerned, but there's still information there that's helpful. No, stop this. What else would you want to know about leadership transitioning? Officer shadowing is a good thing to do at the end of the year. If you've had leaders in mind since the beginning of the year, by the time they're elected, they would hopefully have an idea, but if you have specific positions that need specific training, make sure to do that. So if you guys get out in May, do your elections at the beginning of April, and then make sure to bring them to the conference, because that's a good thing. I don't know, learning things. Set goals. Brendan's going to be talking about this for new groups tomorrow morning, but I still think that old groups need to have goals. Andy's talked to. What is Andy talking about? All right, so just go to all the new groups talks because it's still information that you'll need as old groups. Keeping the momentum going in your group is definitely about setting goals. If you go into the summer with having no idea what you're doing for the fall, then you're not going to be really excited about the fall. But if you end the year, okay, what did we do well this year? What did we not do well? Then you have some ideas to set for the fall and where to hit the ground running in August or September, depending on when you start. I'll let Brendan talk about that. Pass off the fun stuff. You have to give up your box of tabling supplies, which I kind of secretly like to hoard. Although it has managed to pass between me and Dustin 6 times over the last 4 months, so I guess we're doing okay with that. I know that's the least amount of fun passing off. Admit your own weaknesses. This has been I am not really great at doing speakers and planning the finances for that because I don't have enough foresight for that. But if you discuss that with your new leadership pretty early on, then you have an idea of what to do and what you can improve on for that, and maybe you'll even find someone who's way more awesome than you at that. But I am really good at community building, so you can also tell them your strengths. So be okay, you're kind of socially awkward and can't talk to people, find someone who is, and they will do a really good job at this. So you kind of want to have different levels of people on your board. You want to have the person who's really awesome at math and can do all of your finances, but also you don't have to let them talk to people. So that's good. Make sure to be hands off. I can't stress this one enough because I'm not good at that one either. A good idea might be to hold a transition workshop with all of your members at the end of the year, not just your officers. You could discuss the history of the organization and where you'd perhaps like to see it go, and definitely include your advisor. Our advisor's here, and he's awesome. Hey, Barry. So, I mean, I will be talking with my leadership at the end of this conference about what we want to do for the next year, and I will probably also come to the conference next year and discuss what we'd like to do for the fall, even though I won't be going to school next fall, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depends on how you look at graduation. So, stupid buttons. So yeah, once you have everything set up, and you definitely want to step off. I know it will be hard, but you'll have to give up your organization for it to continue on. I think I've said that enough times in this talk that it might have gotten through your head at this point. But you want to sit down with your leadership. You want to let them know where you want it to go. I want to have 50 members by the end of next year. If we can do that, we can do that? Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. All right. So, good luck and plan for the end of your SSA career, because it has to end eventually. All right, I'm done.